The engine roar I leave behind and leap into the blue outside. My pack is tight, I checked all night. I pull the cord but nothing's there, the same when I try out the spare. The wind's a gale, some things fail. No hand to hold, all the world to behold. Before I hit the ground, before I hit the ground, before I hit the clouds below are racing up. I curse the earth for my bad luck. The sun's so bright it feels like spite, but then I see the fields of green, so beautiful and so pristine. Is that why I do not cry? No hand to hold, all the world to behold. Before I hit the ground, before I hit the ground. All of a life is a moment, I can see it now. All of a life, long or short, you got to make it count, make it count. No hand to hold, all the world to behold. No hand to hold, just the world to behold. Before I hit the ground, before I hit the ground, before I hit the ground. Hello and welcome to Guitar Track. I am Richard J. Dowling, and every week I upload an original song, and today it's Before I Hit the Ground. I wanted to do a song that was fairly simple, so just like typical C, F and G. That's the 1 chord, the 4th chord and the 5th chord. And I just started, I wrote it on an acoustic. Just sort of, you know. I wanted to do like a Celtic sounding sort of theme. And so the melody came together very, very quickly. It was just, I started off on the 5th note, playing the C chord. So simple melody, but it sounded very nice. It was Celtic, but not like twee, not overly, you know, too sort of trying too hard to be like a Celtic sounding song. But one of my favourite groups is Big Country from the 80s, and they had a very distinctive Celtic sound, but it was like a modern Celtic sound. It was quite original. I would play it. I mean, when I play it on the electric, hopefully, today I'm recording on a mobile phone. It's like my wife's old mobile phone, which has been freed up because she got a new one. Because I was having so many problems between hardware and software difficulties. Not that I'm blaming Josh Radnor. I mean, it did start right after my last video where I mentioned him, but that's by the by, and innocent until proven guilty. It was getting quite tricky trying to record on the computer, which you think in this day and age, with all of the emphasis on multimedia, it shouldn't be that difficult, but it was. So this week is my first try with just a mobile phone, and hopefully the sound of the electric guitar came out okay on the file. I don't know, I'm going to have to spend more time practicing, and I don't know, because next week I might just use the acoustic guitar anyway. So, but for this song it sounded like it should have the electric guitar. So instead of playing the full chords, I just thought I'd play it just the octave. I don't know why, it just occurred to me. So it's just the C and the octave going up to the F and the octave. And my thinking was that with the electric guitar, when it's got delay on it, it's got distortion, so it sounds quite full. And by not playing all of the notes of the chord, you give space in the arrangement for the vocal, but thinking more further ahead for, you know, for a bass guitar or for keyboards or something. So, as I always try and stress, one thing is the song, and another thing is the arrangement. And the arrangement will, you know, be very different if it's just me on my acoustic. I tend to just play ordinary, you know, basic chords. But if I'm thinking of a band arrangement, then the arrangement of the electric guitar, you have to take into account. You can't, well, depending on the song, you can play fuller chords, or play more open chords, or power chords. I mean, these things you have to think about when you're doing a band arrangement. But so the song was pretty much there. And it had the air of something there was like an intensity to it, a tension. And so then I got the idea of having it about a guy whose parachute fails to open, and then he realizes obviously that he's going to die when he hits the ground. And he comes to the realization that his life, however long it would be just that moment between birth, when you jump out of the plane, and death, when you hit the ground. So he makes the decision in those moments to enjoy what he can, which is really all of any of us can do in life, is just enjoy what you can, take what you can out of life, and make the most of it. So it was a nice, I think, a nice message, a positive message in a difficult situation. And we've all been in difficult situations this year, I'm sure, one way or another, or last year rather, thankfully. So that's the song. I also wanted to give a shout out. Well, first of all, thank you to all of the new subscribers, and welcome. And it's great seeing, you know, little by little my channel is growing and getting more people involved. It really, you know, really cheers me up and makes me eager to do better songs for, you know, for next week and so forth. And I also want to give a shout out to another artist called Zach Boles, who again I think was one of the first people to start making comments on my channel and to get involved. And he is a great musician with a wonderful voice. To me, I mean, he sort of represents what I would think of if you were to say to an English person what would be an American singer. You'd think Bruce Springsteen, I think, is, you know, gives the at the moment, you know, it's sort of I don't know what to say, typical American, but certainly it's a sort of milestone in music. And this, he's done some covers of Bruce Springsteen, but he also has, he's got his own. I'm not saying he's not like he doesn't sound like Bruce Springsteen, but I'm just trying to give an idea of the fact that it sounds American, as opposed to, I think everything I do sounds English because of the culture I was brought up in. It's very difficult to put these things into words, and especially as I'm aware that I don't have very much time, because this camera came loaded up with all the previous 5 years worth of videos that my wife had taken, so I don't know how much is left, so I'm trying to keep it short as possible before I get cut off. So song, shout out to Zach Boles. Please visit his channel, you won't be disappointed. He's got some beautiful songs. He's a very talented guy, and that was it, I think. Thank you, welcome, and to all the new subscribers, and goodbye.